Welcome to the Actor's Side. Today, very excited to have Dev Patel here with us. We're going to talk Lion and your career here and the whole world of acting. And it's interesting to me because, first of all, congratulations.
Thank
you
you.
just
Thank
won
you.
the British Academy Award as we sit here and speak just a few days ago.
Yes.
You may still even have jet lag from that.
I do indeed. It was such an amazing moment to share with my family and my close friends. We kind of celebrated through the night and straight onto the plane back here.
I'll bet,
But,
yeah.
it was amazing. Yeah, kind of out of body experience.
It
yeah.
looked like it. I saw your speech, and it was it was so genuine. You seemed so.
If you can call that a speech. I kind of was just weird, disjointed ramblings, but I really, it sounds like a complete cliche, but I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
So I didn't dare write anything down. And then my name was called and everything went foggy. And, and my legs felt all wobbly, and then I was standing on stage looking at this sea of talent in front of me.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was amazing.
Also in your hometown.
Yeah.
You were born in London. You grew
Born
up in
and raised,
London.
yeah.
Yeah. So what was that like to get this award there?
It meant so much, you know, to kind of be acknowledged by, you know, on home turf like that. And it's an award ceremony that is so special to me. You know, every year we'd sit down as a family in front of the television and watch the BAFTAs. It was kind of a ritual of ours. So the ridiculous happened. And not only were we all there together as a family, but I ended up walking on stage and getting one of those golden statues, and that was, you know, it meant so much to my parents. You know, my mum was gripping it all night, you know, and she's already gone to work and showed it to everyone. She's taking it around houses, and she's very, very proud.
So you don't have it, she's got it.
No. I said bye to him after 5 minutes of having it.
Right. So your background is interesting in London because you really just sort of like happened much easier, it seems like, into acting than others that I've talked to. I mean, you sort of went on and got a job right off on Skins, right?
So back to my mother again, but she travels to work on the train, and there's a free newspaper called the Metro that they put on most of the seats. And in the back was an open casting call. And I'd never really been part of a drama school. I'd taken it as a subject, one of 11 in the school I went to. And it was something I enjoyed, but I never really imagined that I would be able to create a career out of it. And she tore out this little advert and showed me the day before this open casting, which happened to be the show called Skins.
Yeah.
And that changed my life. And it's been, you know, non-stop since, I guess.
So you never acted before a camera before you
No,
did
no,
Skins?
no way in front of a camera.
Yeah.
It was kind of school plays and
Right.
little workshops or, you know, pieces we'd create for homework.
I heard you
and
actually
stuff.
won Best Actor in school, though.
I did. We did. That was when we were, I forgot how old I was, but I was very young. And we did a production of Twelfth Night by William Shakespeare. And you bring in your own costume and do your own makeup. I had football socks as the kind of garters and the leggings and all that, you know. And yeah, it's pantomime really. But I remember that was the first time my father was in the audience with my mum, and I could see him visibly moved. My dad's, you know, he doesn't express a whole lot. So when I saw that, it was a really kind of a big moment for me. And to see my friends and other parents just so that energy in the room, it kind of, I felt alive. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. So you got a little taste of it there that maybe this would be something
Exactly,
you
yeah.
could do. I'm curious, the first day on the set of a very first time in front of a camera on a show like that, is that nerve wracking or?
Yeah, we were so beautifully unaware. And there was one or two actors, proper actors on the show. And I remember when they gathered all of us kids together for the first kind of reading, I saw Nicholas Hoult and another actor, Joe Dempsey. Yeah. And they knew the drill, you know, the lines were highlighted, they'd had it down, and we just sat there kind of waiting to be told what to do. And the first scene was all of us sitting on the grass in a circle, and we're passing around a fake cigarette or something.
Right.
And I didn't know what a boom mic was, or what rolling meant, or speed when a man called out speed, and I was like, what happens now? And I was mouthing everyone else's lines because I'd so over-rehearsed. the scene again and again because I was so nervous. And I was cramming every emotion I could into each line, you know, from joy to sadness to just everything to show I could express. So it was very over the top.
And how did that lead to where I first met you? Obviously, was on Slumdog Millionaire, which was your first film.
Well, I don't know if I had an agent at the time or I was just signing to someone, but Danny Bull had spent months trying to find the lead in his film.
Yeah.
And he'd been to New York and Los Angeles, into India, and done some castings in London. And he was kind of at the end of this process and was about to, what I hear, kind of pack it in. And his daughter was a big fan of my show.
Yeah.
And he came home one night and my goofy face was on the screen. And she's like, "Dad, why don't you try that kid out?" And they called up the producers of the show and said, "We hear you've got a boy called Dev. I wonder if we could take him for a day to see if he could audition for us."
And look what happened to that movie. I remember first hearing about this movie. I will never forget. It's from this guy, Bob Burney, who now works at Amazon. And at that time, he was at Warner Brothers, and they had it originally.
And then it was going to go to DVD or something.
Yeah, it was going to go straight to DVD. And I saw him at the LA Film Festival. This was months before it was seen at Telluride. And he said, "I saw this movie. This movie's so great. And I said, "What is it?" And he goes, "It's Slumdog Millionaire." And I go, "Oh, okay. Do you think it has any awards potential on it?" Because of course that's what I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh no, not at all. But I mean, it's just a really good movie."
Wow.
And so it was even surprising the pros in the business here when it came out. And of course, Warner Brothers had it and then sold it to Searchlight, and it was going to go. I mean, it was not going to happen. And then it wins 8 Academy Awards.
It was. Because that was my first exposure to red carpets. And, you know, I turned up to Toronto Film Festival, which was the first one that we went to. I was at Telluride before that, but with the producers and Danny, who were in attendance. And I was there in my school shoes, walking the carpet. It's so completely unaware of how everything works.
Yeah.
And to walk into the room after that film had played. And this was a time in America when everyone had those badges, you know, the Hope badges. Obama was just about to step to the throne, and there was this real excitement, and the film represented that hope as well. You know, the most unlikeliest of things could happen, and there was a real energy about the film. Just struck a chord with the people, the audiences at that time.
You've had those experiences right down the line now too, because of obviously on the Marigold pictures, working with those actors that you got to work with, Judi Dench and Maggie Smith, and on down the line. I mean, amazing.
The two dames.
People.
Yeah, that was really special, because what you're looking for is I look for mentors in the work I do, and there was a real sense of family in that movie. And you know, everyone from John Madden down to the Spot Boys in India, there was such a camaraderie and a spirit of joy and love that you can see it in the film.
Yeah.
Again, something that took Graham Broadbent, the producer, years to get off the ground, to assemble all those actors together in the same space and try and pitch a film about a crumbling hotel in India with pensioners and a wacky Indian guy. It's a tough sell, actually.
Yeah.
But
interesting. And then it became not only a hit, but then a sequel. You know, who knew?
Yeah, who knew?
All these unexpected things that you fall into in one way.
And
or
we
another.
were all dying to go back to India and just be together, because it really was so much fun. And they say when you have too much fun, the films don't turn out good. But Marigold was the one, you know, exception to that rule.
And in Lion, you know, we were speaking about accents. You also have to master an Australian accent here, and the real guy is very aware of, you know, you're playing him. So
yeah, that was one of the enticing things about the process, was that you can label it as playing an Indian guy, but for me, and if you meet Saru, he's more Australian than anything. So, and the accent was a really, you know, a big part of that process. I spent 8 months with a dialect coach, an hour a day. We would Skype, because she was in Sydney, this woman, Jenny Kent, and we would run the lines over and over until it became just an extension of myself. And, you know, with that dialect training and the physical training to try and bulk up a bit, that the transformation began to get, you know, Saru started to surface and Dev started to slip away
Really, yeah.
And that was a big thing for Garth. He wanted me to be, he didn't want that kind of caricature from Marigold Hotel, and he wanted someone far more masculine than Slumdog. So it was kind of all came together. And there was a nice, luxurious time of 8 months to be able to do it in. And that was our decision, really. I just called my manager and was like, look, we've got to commit everything to doing this right. This voice, this Australian accent, to make it sound subtle, takes a lot, yeah.
You need to face reality.
What do you mean, reality? Do you have any idea what it's like knowing my real brother and mother spent every day of their lives looking for me? Huh? How every day my real brother screams my name. Can you imagine the pain they must be in not knowing where I am? Huh?
The scenes were so touching between you and Nicole Kidman in particular. I mean, really, when I watched it again the other day, I'm going like, wow. And then this movie does bring tears to the eyes of the audience when they see it, but it's tears of hope and joy. And
Well, that scene in the middle of the film,
Yeah.
or the big kind of monologue she has, that's the first scene we shot together.
Yeah.
And it was just, when you meet the real family, you realize how sacred the material is.
Yeah.
You know, I watched Sunny perform in India first, because
That's Sunny Pawar, who plays you as the younger
and,
kid.
You know, he's 8 years old and just astoundingly incredible, and just, he makes everyone melt.
Yeah.
And, you know, I got to meet Saru's Indian mother, Kamala, and we don't share the same language, but to just hold her hand, and, you know, we kind of cried together. And it makes you approach the material with a lot more drive. And it is sacred, because those words are not, they're not just ink on a page, they're actually they're really, you know, shared between two human beings struggling, and it makes you want to do them justice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And playing a real life person who's there, who you, there's a
Exactly.
certain responsibility to that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And, you know, we loved the family so much, and that's the great thing, is when you meet the human beings behind these characters, you're always worried, like, I've painted such a beautiful picture of these people. And when I met Sue, I met Saru, I met John, as a molecule of love, as a family, they're so warm, so open. And Sue especially, Saru's Australian mother, she's such a beautiful human being.
Yeah.
And you can sit with her and she'll just say the most simple but poetic things. You know, and we were doing an interview the other day where they were asking Saru and me about diversity, and she goes, I don't know. You know, everyone keeps talking about diversity, but here in Australia, I just want to focus on harmony. You know, I want us to live harmoniously with each other. You know, and what she says just makes me melt.
Well, you're on the right track everywhere you're going right now, and congratulations on
Thank you.
on everything that's happened this year with Lion, and we look forward to seeing you at the Oscars too.
Oh man, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
man.
so much, Pete. Thanks for having me.